I feel really bad for anybody who is at like a big university or college and they're going for, one of the popular degrees or even the specialized degrees that have to do with office work. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just finished my push-ups. Office work or sitting at a computer or this or that. But it's because I think about first, let me start with this. It's hard for me to imagine how somebody in like a corporate office or office structure type business, how they're actually keeping busy, especially with all the new technology, all the new AI programs that are basically capable of doing what humans can do. So I really haven't understood for the longest time how so many people have been going to college for certain degrees and for certain positions. Like everybody that's going to college, they're not going for labor work. They're going for computer, smarts, intelligence work, business work. So I just don't see how any of these people, anybody that's currently in college right now is trying to go for, especially like a business degree, anything like that, anything business oriented, computer oriented besides, software engineers maybe, is going to get a job. I just don't see it at all because, at least in my opinion, what's going to end up happening is at every business, at every major company, at every small company if possible, there's going to be one person doing the job of 10 people. That's probably just going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. It's just going to be a huge reduction. They're going to have, multiple software engineers for every company figuring out how they can integrate, let me just say this, how they can cut costs, how they can cut people, and still do fine and actually still probably do far better, far more productive work with AI agents doing specifically task jobs. And then I think what's going to end up happening is these software engineers are going to integrate into these companies so well that eventually they're going to replace themselves as well. And once the company structure is good and solid with machines and robots running it, you're going to have the head honchos basically making the decisions, this and that, pulling the plug. And after a certain point, I think even in the corporate lattice and in the higher ranks of companies, I think even those people will go. And I think it will just be, it's just going to be majority shareholders over these companies. I think that's sort of like the end state, but I do feel very, very bad for a lot of these kids going to college because there's just, what job are you going to give them? What job are these people going to have? And, basically what's going to happen is there's been a huge overproduction of white collar jobs, educations, I should say. And that's over. So in this short term, a lot of these people are not going to be getting jobs, and this is kind of over. Honestly, I think that the secondary education, going for this, going for that, I think a lot of it's over. And I think, in this short period, a lot of things are going to change towards, it's hard for me to really accurately predict. I really don't know that much, but I think what's going to happen is in the short term, you're going to have people going for labor, trades, skills, hands work, before the machines can do it. Now, the machines are getting really, really, really good. The physical machines, not computer machines. Well, they sort of are computer machines, but they are getting very, very, very good. There's a lot of money being invested into them. And as you see the Tesla Optimus bots, or even the Chinese, I think it's called the G1 something, the Unitree, I think that's what it's called. Their robots are really good. They're training them. They're spending, millions or billions of dollars investing in these things. And, it's going to take time to train them in the real world, get them good enough. It's also going to take time to manufacture these, figure out how to globally manufacture these things, especially for America, to do, what Americans are doing with their hands. It's going to take a while, but eventually it's going to happen. But let's center back around at the beginning. I just don't think, these degrees are totally worthless. They're totally worthless. Unless you're somebody that's going to go to a company and say, I can help you with AI, I can help you save money, I can help you make money, you're screwed, because nobody needs, a data analyst. Nobody needs somebody sitting at a computer looking at, all the data saying this is what we should do for our marketing, this is what we should do for that. You're just totally useless. And, companies that still haven't come around to it, they're going to come around to it, because there's money in consulting with these companies and basically providing services. Software engineers, these companies, they're going to go around to these people, and if they already aren't, they're going to say, look, you have 100 people here, you have 200 people here that don't need to be here at all. You're paying them, and they're actually slowing your company down. Basically, they'll say, hey, pay for our service, we'll integrate whatever we can into your company, and you can fire all of those people. You can just totally fire all of those people. Now, in these companies outside of the corporate thing, yes, you still are going to need the hands-on people, the retail employees, the factory employees, whatever, all of that, delivery, distribution, things like that. But even that is going to get shrunk by machines. So, we're really going to see this working backwards, like everybody thought it would, where, machines are just going to replace all of the people that have these degrees, for what I like to say smarts work, not hands work, using your brain, and then it's going to work itself backwards. Let's just imagine in the corporate chain, so you have the people at the top, not the shareholders, the major shareholders, or the representatives, or whatever they call them, but it's going to work its way down from below that. So, rich, stay rich, mid to high, gone, working its way down, boom, 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 boom. And, who knows what's going to happen with the future, but it is coming. It's very, very exciting, at least in my opinion, because I'm not going for an education degree. I'm in school for nursing, and maybe robots will replace nursing. Maybe it's just because I'm going for that, but I think it's going to be a challenge for machines to replace doing that. Maybe we have a health breakthrough with AI. We're good. We can sit in a tube and heal everything. Who knows? But yeah, I'm mostly just excited about how to see really how the world is going to change. And now there's going to be a period where everything gets really weird and really messed up. People are going to be upset. People are going to be angry. A lot of people are going to be poor. We're going to have big issues, like huge issues. But it's possible to come out better on the other side. One of the biggest solutions to this problem, this idea that's been brought up a lot, is universal basic income. And now we'll see how that plays out, especially in a place like America. It's tough to do that. We're going to have to kind of have like maybe a hybrid system with capitalism, with UBI, or, what I'm imagining is all of the wealth basically will either be held in the government or just by all of the rich people, and then at their discretion, it is shared with everybody else on planet Earth, or let's just use for an example, America. We really do have two possibilities. But either way, what I think it's kind of looking at is just a two-class system. So I don't think you will have low class, mid class, and high class. I think that it is high class, and whatever form the other one takes. We can sort of go to a dystopian reality, if this fantasy reality, where I'm thinking is kind of possible. All of these wealthy people will stay wealthy, and everybody else is a consumer. And now, how do you keep everybody a consumer? Well, you keep them distracted, and you keep them from finding ways to make money, to take from your pool of money, or your pool of resources or whatever, what you do is you give them stuff for free. You give them amazing technology for free that makes them sit right here. They're not even thinking about they're not even thinking about work and making money. They're just sitting here. Maybe they're not even here. Maybe they're sitting here and they're tapped in and they're like, and they're in a reality with all their friends and it's great and everything's awesome and they don't have to leave. They got this choice of drugs sitting right here that they can take when they maybe have to come back to reality for something. Who knows, guys? But I'm excited because change is coming no matter what. And I also stay hopeful. So, thanks, guys.